What's the relationship of this suspect, the shooter, to these kids?
We believe he's a neighbor.
When you say juvenile female, is there a small child, teenager?
Teenager.
And was it a juvenile male as well?
No, it was an adult male.
What was the motive for going into the house in the first place?
We believe it was a neighborhood dispute over a dog situation. Some complaints about his dog, but we don't have all those details right now. We need to do some follow-up investigation.
The shooter's dog?
Correct.
Are you able to confirm how the shooter died?
We don't know at this time, right now.
How long of a barricade situation was this?
We were out here for about 2 hours, and like I said, it was a joint agency response between our agency and the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office.
How's your officer doing now?
He's okay. I'm being told it's non-life-threatening injury, and so he's going to hopefully be fine.
Where was he shot? What portion of the body?
We believe he was shot in the arm. I'm unsure which one as of right now.
Can you release his name?
Not at this time.
Do you believe that the officer shot the suspect? Could that have been part of his injury?
That's going to be part of our follow-up investigation. Our agency is going to be working the homicide investigation, and the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office will be working the officer-involved shooting, as one of their deputies was involved in it as well.
The adult victim and the child victim, they're related? That was a father and daughter, is that it?
Don't know the relation at this time, but they're believed to be related.
What part of the home were they shot in, and how many times were they each shot?
Don't know the answer to that. The father, though, was found inside of the garage. When I arrived on scene, the daughter had been extracted by the deputy and our officer and brought over to this parking lot here and was receiving medical treatment prior to transportation.
What kind of a gun did he have?
Don't know right now.
What's your reaction to this?
It's just shocking and it's just tragic. It's just not characteristic for this neighborhood or for the city, but we're going to do everything we can to find out all the reasons why and work closely with the Sheriff's Office and try to get these answers for everybody.
Do you know this shooter? Like, have you guys responded to any complaints about him before? Does he have a history of violence or anything that you know about?
I don't know about a history of violence. I do know we've had the situation with the dog, and the dog was declared dangerous, I believe, the other day in court. Those are all just preliminary information I got from our animal control division.
And the dog belonged to the victim?
The shooter.
The shooter.
Yeah.
Are you able to elaborate a little bit more on that? Was it just complaints about the dog being possibly dangerous? Was it going to the bathroom on their lawn? Anything you can say?
I'm not sure why it was declared dangerous, so I'm not sure. That is all go through the court, though, in order to happen.
My understanding, the court case was this morning, and they all came from court, and then that set them off.
So the victim had complained about the dog being noisy and barking a lot, and the owner of the dog was not happy about his complaining? Is that?
I'm not sure what the complaints were.
Do you know, Sheriff?
No, all I know is the court proceeding was this morning. The case was granted for the victims in this case, and they all came home from court, and then the suspect armed himself and went to the victim's house.
How young are we talking about with this little girl?
I believe to be her age between somewhere around 13 years of age.
Do you think she was intentionally shot, or do you think she was actually,
I believe this to be an intentional act of violence against these neighbors.
The entire family.
Correct.
Why do you say that?
That's what the evidence is pointing to right now.
Were these the only two people who lived in the home, the teenager and the male, or were there other people?
I believe it was a family residence. I'm not sure how many occupants, though, that reside there.
And others were taken out?
Others were able to escape.
Were there any challenges
Thankfully.
Were there any challenges in your response? Anything that made officers or deputies delayed in the response to this incident?
No, from my understanding, there was no delay in response. Like I said, we encountered the suspect and they exchanged gunfire with him. One of our officers was hit, but I'm thankful that he's okay. And, the rest of the officers and deputies are okay, but we're going to do our best to find out exactly what led to this incident.
Suspect inside the home during the exchange of gunfire?
The suspect eventually ended up inside the home of the victims and was found dead up in a bedroom upstairs of one of the victims.
And sorry, suspect is the gun owner? I mean the dog owner?
Yes, correct.
Did you evacuate a number of homes nearby, and how many homes do you think?
We pretty much put the whole area on lockdown. I don't know if we evacuated any homes per se, but we didn't let anybody come down the area, drive down there or anything like that.
When you got here, though, this guy was in the house and you were trying to talk him out, or he was already dead at that point?
Don't know. When we got here, there was an exchange of gunfire, multiple rounds. And so at that point, once the officers were able to get the child and deputy were able to get the child to receive first aid, we pretty much had the whole situation on lockdown from that point. So.
And you busted into the house to see if he was alive or dead or what?
There was open doors inside of the house, so we were able to make entry and do some different techniques to find out where he was.
Was he dead of a self-inflicted gunshot?
Don't know that yet. That's what we're going to do an investigation on.
How many other people escaped the house that you know of?
I believe 3 to 4, but I'm not sure right now.
3 to 4 others.
Yeah.
And Assistant Chief, a lot of information here. We have some viewers joining us right now live. Could you do just a quick recap? I know there's a lot going on, but just a quick recap again of what happened.
Sure. We responded to the residents in the 2500 block Southeast Morningside Boulevard regarding a shooting disturbance call. When we got here, we had found 2 people injured, one male, adult male that passed away from his injuries in the garage area. The officers and deputies encountered the suspect who was inside the victim's residence. They exchanged gunfire with the suspect. One of our officers was injured with gunfire, non-life-threatening injuries. The deputy and the officers were able to get the female victim, approximately 13 years of age, outside of the residence and across the street to the middle school, where she was transported to the hospital and later deceased from her injuries. Our SWAT team set up on the scene, secured the perimeter along with the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office, and our officers did a great job keeping the neighborhood pretty much on lockdown. We were able to make entry into the residence and found the suspect deceased and up in one of the bedrooms.
What do you think of the fact that 2 people lose their lives over something as fairly trivial as a dog?
It's tragic. It's tragic. I mean, you can't rationalize irrational behavior. So we may never understand why, but unfortunately it happened. And thankfully nobody else is hurt though, and our officers are going to be okay too.
Was he shooting out of a 2-story window of the residence?
We got reports of that, but I don't want to confirm that right now. I don't know that to be fact.
Do you know what type of weapon he was using?
I don't know that.
Handgun, rifle?
I don't know.
And you said your officer was struck in the arm. He's going to be okay. But how is your agency doing, just knowing that this horrific scene took place?
Everyone did a great job. Everyone came out here, did their job. They rise to the occasion, just like the sheriff's office does all the time. I mean, they're ready to go. This is what they do. So I'm sure we're going to have some good counseling and debriefs afterwards. Make sure the officers are okay mentally, emotionally. But it's a tough job right now. But I couldn't be more proud of how they responded to it. There's a lot of things to coordinate, a lot of things going on. But I couldn't be more proud of the officers and the deputies that responded out here today.
How long did the standoff last?
Approximately 2 hours.
I know you're not identifying the officer. Just any vague information, how long they've been with the agency? Or...
I don't want to release that at this time right now. There's privacy for him.
Anything else you want to add?
No, sir.
Sheriff, you?
No, what you see behind you are heroes responding to a very, very violent, dangerous situation, and that's what they do day in and day out. I mean, if you heard this call come over the radio, it would make the hair on your neck stand. A little girl calls in saying that, there's someone shooting in our house. I think my parents are dead. I think my family's dead. And these officers run into that house to save who is surviving in that house. So, hats off, like Assistant Chief Del Toro say, hats off to these heroes that respond in the most dangerous situations to make sure people are safe. Exchange gunfire, one officer hit. My deputy exchanged gunfire and actually drug one of the girls out, one of the victims out. Just a tragic turn of events in what is normally a very, very serene community here in Port St. Lucie.
Sure. Can you clarify, is the girl that made that 911 call, is she one of the victims in this case?
Well, she was a victim, but we don't know if she was hit. We don't know if she was the one that was taken to the hospital or not.
So were there police officers and deputies who fired at the house or at the suspect?
Yes, and the reason why my deputy was here, she's a school resource deputy and was actually doing a safety assessment on the school across the road and heard the call come out on the radio. She ran to the house to render assistance to the Port St. Lucie officers.
Were there students at this school?
No, there were no students at the school, only adults, and they're getting ready to open up, in 3 or 4 weeks, and they're doing a safety assessment. So there was a lot of action at the school, but no students.
At Southport Middle is what you're talking
Southport Middle, correct.
Sheriff, what's a message to the public that it doesn't have to come to this, as something as simple as
a dog complaint? Yeah. I mean, I say it all the time, and we talk about it among law enforcement professionals. There's an anger management problem in our society. People immediately want to do violence or grab a gun or assault someone. It doesn't pay to do that. I mean, there are other ways to resolve your complaints. Be human, be civil. This is a tragedy. I mean, there might be 2, 3, 4 people killed when this is all over. We don't know, but it's a tragedy, that's for sure.
I thought it is over. You know that there were 2 dead. You're saying there could be more victims?
Well,
You have
I don't know.
five
There's
dead?
some at the hospital, and the suspect is definitely dead. So there's 3 right there.
How many? How many victims are at the hospital?
Well, we think 2 were removed from here and taken to the hospital. There's 2 dead there and the suspect. So there's 3 here and 2 still at the hospital,
So
Not
more-
including the officer?
not including the officer.
So more than 2 people shot it inside the home.
We don't know if they were shot or just injured. If you can imagine, there was just so much commotion, and of course the mission was to get the ones who were there out away from the danger.
You know when this guy came to the house with the gun, right? Did he ring the bell or knock on?
That I
they
don't know.
came to
We
the
don't
door
know
and
any
he
of that
burst
yet.
in there?
We don't know.
No, when the call came out, it was the caller said there's someone in our house and shooting my parents. So.